All right, yes guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're filming a Q&A. You guys asked the questions on Instagram. I've got a few more questions outside of Instagram from YouTube as well, because you guys have been blowing up the YouTube, asking loads of questions. So I thought I'd bring the Rolls-Royce out. Nice little view in the background. Let's get straight into it and start answering these questions. So question one, what is it like owning a Rolls-Royce at 20? I mean, it's absolutely massive. That's the reason why I went for this car in the end. The way the doors open as well, opening like that is crazy. I imagine like you got a few women in the back and the doors are opening. Like I've never seen a car doors open like that in my life. And to be fair, a lot of people would say, is the Rolls-Royce fast? To be honest, yeah, it is. It's got about 650 brake, V12. You wouldn't think it's got a V12, you'd probably think it's like electric from how quiet it sounds. But yeah, it's got a V12 engine, 600 brake horsepower, but it weighs about 7,000 pounds, so it's heavy. But it'll still smoke a few cars, not like a Lambo or anything. So let's get on to the next question. How different is living in Miami to where you're from in the UK? So as you guys know, for those of you in the UK, you're gonna know exactly what I'm saying, but the UK is finished, is cooked. The tax rates are off the charts. The weather is disgusting. Every single day is grey. Guys, in the background right now, you can see, look at this sunset. We have the palm trees, we have the car. Look how clean the roads are as well. So clean. In the UK, there'll be crisp packets on the floor. There'll be someone's meal deal in the bush, someone's drink, Coca-Cola cans. Everything just seems perfectly clean here. It seems almost like a perfect environment. Maybe that's just me. The people in the UK, they're moody. They don't even say good morning. In fact, they want you to just stay as far away from them as possible. You get the 16, 17-year-olds cycling their bikes with some sort of balaclava on, thinking there's something, trying to take your phone in London. I'm just so over the UK, to be honest. That's why I'm out in the US now, and I'm considering actually going to Houston. So you guys let me know, shall I make Houston a step or shall I stay in Miami, stay focused here? I love Miami. It seems literally like the movies, you know, it's too perfect. But Houston's appealing. I might drive this car all the way to Houston. What do you guys think? 16-hour car trip. Do you think we should make it happen? What prop firms would you recommend? Obviously, everyone knows we trade ICT concepts. Which prop firm is the best in the space? Number one prop firm for futures trading is going to be TopStep. I'm not affiliated with any prop firm. I'm not looking to make $1,000 or $2,000 from any prop firm at all. But at the end of the day, TopStep is the number one prop firm without a doubt. Apex, I would stay away from them. They didn't pay out my most recent payout. So it's going to be TopStep, Alpha Futures, My Funded Futures, and also FTMO. That's the top 4 prop firms that you want to go with 100%. And eventually, once you actually fully scaled out of prop firms, then you can start looking at actually scaling up your live account. So you're taking the payouts from your funded accounts, eventually moving that into a live account, scaling up, scaling the contracts, and overall scaling absolutely everything. So you can make way more than, say, as you start off getting payouts, you'll be making $1,000, $2,000 a month. And you're thinking, Milo, what's the point in even bothering with $1,000 or $2,000 a month? It doesn't get me anywhere. You're right, $1,000 is nothing. However, as you scale over time, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months will go by, and now you're gonna have $10,000 a month coming in, $50,000 a month coming in. Depending on how fast you scale, you'll be in $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a month. My biggest month is around $250,000 in payouts as of last year. Since recently I lost my Apex capital because they didn't pay out and asked for strategy proof, I recently am now only trading my TopStep, my live account and my FTMO account, and also looking at a few other prop firms as well. Next question, what risk size would you use on your prop firm accounts? Well, it depends if you got the 300K account or you got a 50K account. I tell everyone the difference between a 50K account and a 300K account is nothing. There's no difference. And you're probably thinking, what is he talking about? The only difference between the two accounts is drawdown. On a 150K account, you have a 4.5K drawdown. On a 50K account, you have a 2K drawdown. So you're talking about 2.5K, which is a matter of around 4 to 5 trades in a profit, and you've covered that drawdown on your funded account. What do I mean by that? So if you go for the 50K account, it's quicker to pass, it's cheaper to purchase, therefore quicker to pay out. There's 3 benefits to a 50K account than purchasing, say, a 150K account for $150 when you can get 3 50K accounts for the same price. And who cares about $150? But I'm saying, if you want to actually pass these accounts faster, once they're passed, then you can take a few trades, build up the buffer. Say you're up $5,000 on your 50K accounts. Now you have a 5K drawdown because it stops trailing at 50K. So now you have a 5K drawdown. Now you can scale the accounts even further if you want, trade more contracts, and therefore, because now you have a 5K drawdown, you've converted your 50K into even more than the 150K, which has a 4.5K drawdown. That's my explanation going down the prop firm route. Stick to 50K accounts all the time. How can you teach me? I offer a one-to-one mentorship, only taking on around 1 to 2 more people. In fact, we had one person recently, and I'm currently in the mix of filming this video. I flew the mentee from New York to Miami. When I purchased this car, which I purchased the other day, no, it's not a rental. For people watching this video, if you don't know who I am, we make money over these sites. We don't rent our cars. I have done in the past. When we was in Dubai, I rented a Urus. I've rented a couple bikes in Thailand. But when it comes to actually me, honest truth, and telling you guys, this car is mine. I got the papers for it and all. In regards to getting taught, one person recently has dropped off, and we're actually looking for 2 more people to join the one-on-one mentorship, where you get coached by myself, you get my personal WhatsApp number, and you get coached not in a group classroom, me and you, one-to-one. And I'm gonna find the flaws and the issues that you're currently experiencing with ICT, which is holding you back from all of your potential and you receiving consistent payouts. I will fix those issues within a matter of 1 to 2 calls, and you'll be on road, taking the right trades, and you'll already be starting to make a lot of progress within a matter of a week. Similar to my student Danny, he is from New York, lives in Miami. He was out there just visiting his mum because it was his mum's birthday. I said, look, Danny, you've been paid $28,000 since you joined the mentorship. I'm gonna book you a flight to Miami. I'll meet you there. I'm buying a new car. He came with me. We filmed the whole process. He was with me whilst I was buying the new car. He's a little bit quiet because we didn't speak much because I was kind of stressed about making sure the car's all right. And then yesterday we took out a few jet skis and we had a great time, went out for a lovely meal as well. And you could have the exact same experience if you just put your mind to it, or you choose to go down the route and get approved for the one-to-one mentorship, which there's a link in the description of this YouTube video if you want to go down that route also. How did you know when it was time to leave your job and go full-time trading? Well, that's a very difficult decision for many people. For me, I would happily quit and make no money because the job that I was working at the time was only paying me around $2,000 a month, and I was not stacking any money. In fact, I was losing money. I was spending around $2,000 a month just on food, and I was struggling in order to use the money from the warehouse job, which I was working, in order to actually fund my lifestyle, which was nothing. It was so basic: gym membership, food, and a bus pass in a place where I'm from called Bournemouth in the UK. I was just riding the bus, and the bus pass is like £100 a month. But trust me, after everything, you're left with nothing in the UK. So everyone in the UK is pretty much living paycheck to paycheck. It's nothing like the US. Obviously in the US, there's a lot of people doing that as well. But in Miami, many people have a lot of successful businesses here. But the time that I thought, you know what, I'm done with this warehouse job, I'm finished, is when I got sacked. I was in the back of the van in the warehouse, and I was sat in the back. I was watching ICT on my phone. I was watching the 2022 mentorship. I said, look, I'm gonna make it out of this warehouse. I'm gonna make something of myself. I was watching the 2022 mentorship 5 times. I watched it 5 times. I started with the Market Maker series, went on to the 2022. I was in the back of the van. The manager seen me. He was like, what are you doing? I thought you was moving packages into the back of the vans. No, I wasn't. I didn't care about that job. I was too focused and money driven on the final prize, which was me getting funded and consistently paid out using ICT concepts. When I first started trading, I didn't know about ICT. I was trading supply and demand, I was trading other concepts, or sometimes I was trading based off emotions. I'll turn up one day and I used to use the moving average, RSI, indicators such as along those lines, and nothing was working. I was thinking, how's everyone else making money on social media? Or I see other people making money, whether they are or not, but why am I not making any money? And it was simply due to the fact I didn't have a checklist-based model in place which I could consistently follow, which has proven back-tested data over the space of 5 to 10 plus years. I didn't know what I was doing. And then when I found ICT, I was still unprofitable. Eventually I found the 2022. It took me 6 months of trading that model to finally get my first payout, which I lost and blew all of the accounts within a matter of, that's what I'm saying, Miami's just a different place. Someone's gone past on a boat at 8 p.m. and they're blasting music out. It's a lovely place. Everyone seems to be living life here. I don't know what's going on. Crazy place. It's like a simulation. It's like GTA. Once I managed to get my psychology in place and actually follow the set of rules that I told myself that I was going to follow, because I didn't trust myself for a long time. I kept doing things that I said I wasn't going to do. And then I started receiving consistent payouts once I managed to get my psychology on track, which I know a lot of you struggle with. I struggle with ADHD symptoms myself. So this video is not going to be longer than 30 minutes because I've got to go. We got a few other businesses that we run as well, and my attention span isn't that long. So me dealing with approaching price each morning and following one model and not taking a trade for 2 or 3 days because I didn't find anything which was actually worthwhile was very, very difficult for me. Eventually, the way I managed to cope with it is that I got sick of not being paid out. I said, look, the model's profitable, and I also said I'm profitable, so why am I not making money? It's because I'm trying to rush the process in me trying to get to a payout, which is actually slowing me down. Once I stopped doing that, that was it. It was all up from there. Woke up late, missed my setup. Do you still trade or sit the day out? That's a very good question. If you approach price in the morning and you're already late to the market, or let's say you was monitoring price and you missed the trade, you do not enter that trade. If you've missed it, even if it's already slipped 20 handles in favor of the trade, now your stop placement isn't valid. Now you do not have the entry that was your entry. Anything after that is a gamble and you're risking too much. Your risk to rewards most likely massively affected as well. If you've missed the trade, you've missed the trade. Don't try force it. Feel free to take a look at the next macros, such as second AM macro at 11:45 AM to 12:15, at 10:45 AM to 11:15 AM, or you can take a look at the lunch macro, which is at 11:45 AM to 12:15 PM, all in New York time, by the way. This is why we're in Miami, because it's the same time zone as New York. Everyone's showing payouts, but no one talks about losses. What's your worst day look like? Well, this week, in fact, I took a loss. I took a losing trade myself. What was the end result for myself this week? Well, 93 handles in profit, and I made over $20,000. Monday, I broke down this trade on the YouTube channel. You guys will see it. It's getting released shortly. You guys will see it. The video's already been released on this channel, so feel free to go check that out as well. It was a trade I took on Monday, a long position after 10 AM news, already manipulated below equal lows, and then I had a clean shift in market structure on both NQ and ES. We had a mitigation block paired with a fair value gap, and I looked for a 3-to-1 risk to reward because the most recent 1 minute high didn't offer a 2-to-1 risk to reward, so I had to target a 3-to-1 and secured 93 handles on that trade. And then the second trade I took that week was on Tuesday. I took a short position and got stopped out. It was overall A+ setup. The only thing going against that trade was there was an SMT at the lows for ES, where ES already took the objective. Some people could say that I shouldn't take that trade. However, every single confluence was in favor of that trade, including my bias. Therefore, I took it. Lost 30 handles, so I was currently up on the week around 60 points. And then when it came to Wednesday, I took a short. I missed the short inside of the first AM session, which was disappointing. I was very fixated on NQ and my execution screen on the left. I didn't see that ES tapped the gap. NQ didn't tap the gap, and I was waiting for it. It was very, very close at 10:02 AM on Wednesday. You guys can check that out yourself. But I missed that trade. Ended up taking a position inside of the lunch macro, which was a short, and secured around 30 handles, which put me up around 93 handles or so on the week, which is $20,000 plus equivalent. I keep second guessing entries. Is that psychology or just not enough confidence in my strategy? If you're following a checklist-based model and it's been ticked off, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be entering that trade. Why second guess yourself? You need to trust the model. Don't trust yourself, trust the model. You're here to do a job, you're here to run a business. So when the opportunity presents itself, you don't hold back, you enter. You capitalize off the opportunity. It's the silliest thing and the dumbest thing that if an opportunity is in front of you and you're scared to take the opportunity, which is proven consistently to make you money, but you're hesitant to take it because you believe that might not be the right opportunity for you. You taking that trade could either result in a win or a loss, but the overall thought process of you taking that trade is the most important thing out of anything. If you have the correct thought process and the correct entry checklist for that trade, then there's no reason why you won't be profitable on a month-to-month basis. So long story short, if the model presents itself inside a macro in front of you, take the trade. If it's a loss, then sit back, be done with that macro, approach the second AM or the lunch macro from there. And then if there is any more opportunities, feel free to capitalize on it. But if your overall drawdown on your funded account is affected and below 75% of the original drawdown, then make sure that you stay at half position size and you can still capitalize on the next opportunity. I'm at break even after 2 months. Is that normal or am I wasting my time? To be honest, if you are break even, you're in a very, very good situation. A lot of people don't make any money and they find themselves unprofitable. So if you find yourself being break even month to month, that means you are on the tip of the iceberg to being profitable. You're so close. But there's only a few things holding you back, which you just need to illustrate and fix up on and just brush up on, and that will be all that you need in order to turn consistently profitable. That means you're very, very close, trust me. Just before I got my first payout, I found that my accounts were just sitting at break even. I had my 150K accounts and they seemed to be sitting around 150, there was up 500, then there was down 500, then there was up $1,000, then there was up 500 again, and I was like, I'm not making any progress here, I'm basically break even. And then when I just fixed a few things, boom, it took off and I managed to get consistently paid out on a month-to-month basis. Someone said, how many hours should I be studying ICT if I still work full-time? When I was working full-time, I did not care less about the job. Even when I was at work, I was still studying ICT all day. I didn't care about anything apart from making money. When me and my friend were broke, we didn't care about going to a party, we didn't care about girls, we didn't care about drinking, we didn't care about smoking, nothing. The only thing we cared about was making money. So anything outside of it, I wasn't interested. My family would try to speak to me about certain topics about school, that's why I got kicked out. There's reasons why I'm in this position, because I went full force. There's no set hours per day. I'm not gonna commit myself 3-4 hours per day. I did 12, 15, the maximum amount of hours per day that I could study ICT. I don't believe in burnout. Burnout is for losers. Burnout is for people that don't believe in themselves and they don't want to become something of themselves, and they don't actually have it in them to just go full force at it and go grab it yourself. You think when Hitler started invading certain countries, he said, look, my army's gonna have burnout. Let's just stop invading a few countries for a couple of days. Let's just chill for a little bit and then let's get back to it, say in a week or two. No, he went full force. Obviously he lost the war, but so does every country. Any person in life that succeeds massively does not stop halfway through. You have to keep going at your end goal until you have it. If you don't have it, there's no reason why you should be stopping. Why are you stopping to go play the PlayStation or go watch TV or go to the cinema with your girlfriend or go to the restaurant with a few family members? Why are you doing that if you're not already where you want to be? That's a very big problem that you're currently struggling with. You need to go full force on your end goal until you have it. If you don't have it, you don't stop. What's the difference between an order block and a breaker block? All an order block is a assumes institutional area of interest for price to actually push off and push in direction of that order block. If the order block gets inversed, then it's going to turn into a breaker block, considering that we took the previous short-term high or low. The difference between a breaker or a mitigation block is that a mitigation does not take the high or low before inversing the order block. A breaker does take the high and does take the low and then inverses the order block. If you have a breaker on NQ and on ES that you have a mitigation, what's that going to mean? That means that you have an SMT, which leading up to a trade example is a very, very good setup for that trade, considering of course other confluences and other factors go in place. What's the first thing you should do before every single trade? Every single day, I always start by determining my daily bias. People on YouTube saying you don't need bias, you need bias. Start on the daily time frame and the 4 hour. Start on the daily time frame and then work your way down through the time frames until you get to the 5 minute. Determine the bias on the daily, the 4 hour, the hourly, the 15 and the 5, and work out each time frame for that bias. As you determine more of a bias, whether you have a bullish or a bearish bias, and work your way down through those time frames until you determine an overall bias. Once you have your bias, then you can approach price, look for the model, look for a super liquidity such as London, Asia, data, previous day high, previous week high, also certain draws such as unfilled imbalances, and also new day opening gap and new week opening gap. There's loads of major draws for price which you can look for at the New York Open, especially at the New York Open. Looking for say a Judas swing after a period of accumulation can definitely be a major factor in confluence to your already existing bias. How is your daily routine? My daily routine is pretty basic. I mean, I wake up around 7 a.m. I'll go straight for a run, have a coffee, and then get straight into business. I reply to a few emails, I reply to a few phone calls, text messages, etc. Get my chef to cook me a meal in the morning. Once the meal's out of the way, I like to go hit the gym straight first thing in the morning. If you get a gym session out in the morning, it massively boosts the energy levels and your overall clarity for the day ahead, because one, you've already achieved something massive on the day. Boom, you've been to the gym. I know it's not the biggest achievement, but it's very good for your mind to get out of the house in the morning, go for a run, hit the gym, and get some very good quality meals in the morning, such as steak, salad, these green juices that are made for me, many other anti-cancerous ingredients inside of these drinks, which are extremely good for you. What's the fastest way to improve your trading and actually become consistently profitable? A lot of people, they struggle with the same thing, which is going to be psychology. Why do they struggle with psychology? It's because they're too attached to the dollar amount. If you find yourself struggling with your psychology and actually sticking to a set of rules, the reason why is because you're attached to the dollar amount too much and you're trying to make the money now. You need to slow down. If you slow down and actually think about taking the right trades over the space of a month or two and stick to say a demo account for 3 to 4 weeks, prove to yourself that you do take the right trades and you can prove that you close 3 to 4 weeks in a profit, then that in itself would be all that you need, which is 3 to 4 weeks on a demo account, to then when you can actually switch over back to a funded account or a live account that you was trading. And from that point onwards would be the biggest improvement that you can ever make. What is the biggest lesson from trading and life in general? Well, if we start with life in general, is that the people around you are very, very important. And if the people around you are not aspiring and gonna go to the next level, which you're aspiring to go to, if the people around you don't have the same mindset and the same vision to what you have and aspirations to get to that level, then you need to cut them off. If they're sat around going to parties, chatting to women all day, yeah, you need a few women here and there, but at the end of the day, you need to aspire to be something great, and the people around you need to motivate you to bring you to that level. Because if they're not, they're only actually holding you back. They're trying to drag you back into the same box they're currently in. That's why I myself apply the 30-30-30 rule. What does that mean? 30% of your friends can be below you, 30% of your friends are on your level, and 30% of your friends are actually above you doing crazy things and on a way different level to what you're currently at. The friends below, you're bringing them up to your level. The 30% of friends which are currently on your level, you're all working together to get to the next level, and the people above you, they're bringing you up to that next level. So it's a full cycle where you all benefit together in that friend group. What I mean by friends being below you is that they don't really aspire to do much and they don't really have any ambitions. They're just smoking weed and going parties every single week. Then those type of people are far below you. Just because someone doesn't have a lot of money doesn't mean they're below you. It's just the mindset at the end of the day, which is really going to help with them being around you, because then you lot can then really work together to get to the next level. How do you handle haters? Honestly, I love it. Whenever I see a message come through on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, I'm the first person to respond. I'm the first person to like it. Usually what I do, I pin or like the message and then I respond to it. I seen one person comment the other day, they said, bro, why are you always wearing the same shoes? I mean, today we got LV loafers on. The other day we had another pair of loafers, which were, don't even know what brand they were, like $500 normal. $500 for shoes is standard like these days anyway. And he was asking about the shoes. I was like, yeah, bro, I can't afford another pair. Can't afford another pair of shoes, mate. It's a shame. I wish I could afford another pair of shoes. If only I could just get one more payout and I can buy myself a pair of shoes, man. I really wish I could just get another pair of shoes. Or maybe this t-shirt. They like to accuse that I wear the same t-shirt, but little do they know I've got 50. If only I could just buy one more of these. It would help me out massively. But yeah, I mean, haters, come through. Get in the comments on this video. Love it. It's amazing. One person accused me of the haircut, said the barber needs to get sacked. I thought it was quite funny. I actually screenshot that comment. I sent it to my barber. I said, you need to up your game. So I've got a trim tomorrow. You guys will see it. It's not that fresh right now, but when you see me next, you might have taken that advice from that comment, and actually that's played in my favor to get a better trim now. Are you currently where you want to be? No. And that's the same with anything in life. This was always my dream car. Always. Riding around in a double R Cullinan. I seen it on YouTube. I seen other people like Samuel Noah, Lambo Rao, whatever you call them. But I seen them with like Rolls-Royce Cullinans. I was like, that's my dream whip. I need to get a car like that one day. And this was only me about a year ago. And I was like, I need to get to that level. That's my aspired level. And now I'm at this level. Once you do get to certain levels, then you're always going to aspire to be greater and be better. Because if you're not aspiring and evolving in life, then you're doing something wrong. But yes, of course, in the future, I look to change big cities such as Miami. I've got a lot of business plans that I look to actually scale by using the money from trading and actually scale to start other businesses in Miami. I'm not going to talk about them off my chest. I'm going to keep the cards to myself. I'm not going to show my cards as of now. There's a lot of businesses that I aspire to do and many big things in life as well. Because if you stop working, then what else are you going to do, right? And then final question of the Q&A. How important is patience in trading ICT? It doesn't matter if you're trading supply and demand, support and resistance, or you're trading any other concepts, including ICT. It's the #1 key why many, or even say 99% of traders fail is due to lack of patience. Once you actually manage to build up patience in order to wait for the model, because if you trade a certain model, it's only going to come across every certain so often on a certain time-based period. And if you can't have the patience in order to wait and have the discipline to wait for the model to present itself, then you'll never be profitable. And that's end of. You'll never be profitable. If you don't trade the model and you're trading what you see in front of you at the time or based off emotions, then you don't have a strategy. You actually have better luck in the casino. And guys, that is it for the Q&A. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to this channel. We are running it up to 100K subscribers this year. Drop a comment what you want to see inside of the next video. And until the next one, have a great rest of your weekend.